Thank you. Appreciate that. Senator Lazari, you mentioned that there was a threshold calculation that the person overseeing DMV has a budget that's larger than 4 other secretaries in the state. I'm curious if that is a bright line, that now you see that if there's a certain level of funding that's flowing through a department, then like y'all are the one that has drawn that line. Is that something going forward we can expect a certain budgetary threshold requires Senate confirmation?
No.
So it's, sorry, follow up.
Yeah, follow up.
So it's just this one situation, this one time we're charting new territory. Is that correct?
Well, I think you're diminishing the actual issue. It's not this one situation, one time. It's what we believe is best for the folks that we serve, for the citizens of North Carolina. This is an ongoing issue. It's a, when you look at the numbers, it's a fairly large entity with a fairly large budget amount, but I'm not sure it sets a precedence for future decisions. In this particular situation, with its history and its lack of outcomes, it's the right decision at this time.
Thank you. I see Senator Buck Newton and then Senator Woodard, you'll be next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chairman. Something that Senator Mayfield said, I'm just curious about, and it might be a semantical difference, but it struck me as odd. She talked about division level appointment, and maybe the SBI director isn't considered a division level, but we certainly do appoint. The governor nominates, and we approve or disapprove that nomination for the SBI director. And to me, this isn't really all that different when we're talking about a critical function that could be policy-wise and leadership-wise really detrimental to the public if it's not well run. So to me, I'm not sure this is so unprecedented.
Thank you.
Thank you for that point. Senator Woodard.
So my question, Senator Lazar, is help me then understand the relationship under this model that the DMV commissioner would have to the secretary. They still be in the DO department and still report to the secretary.
Yes.
But you've taken away the hiring authority of the secretary for one of the bigger parts of their division.
That's correct.
And you've taken away the firing authority as well.
That's
correct. So I guess that really concerns me a lot. You wouldn't do that in the private sector. You wouldn't tell a private person that you take away their hiring or firing authority. And I don't think we're doing that in other departments as well. Maybe SBI is one exception, but for me, I see a very slippery slope here because you pull out DMV. I was just looking around. I think the only Venn diagram of this committee and the health committee is me. And I could go through DHHS and I could find a number of divisions that have bigger budgets than those 4 departments you listed, probably bigger than DMV. Do we start appointing the deputy secretaries and division heads at DHHS? You've got some in DEQ.
So,
And Senator Sawyer said, yeah, maybe. But I mean, that's not our job, is to appoint these division heads in the governor's cabinet. And then you start doing it in, start doing it council of state. I mean, those of us on ag, would we start appointing, the head of weights and measures in Department of Agriculture? That's not a big department, but we get all twisted up about a particular commissioner or division head. And this is a really slippery slope that you're proposing here. I know this is the first time, but we're really heading down what I think is a dangerous path based on what criteria? Size of budget? Because like I said, I could go through DHHS and find many division heads with way bigger budgets than what we're talking about. And I just don't think it's our job to go into these agencies and start picking these division heads because we have questions or performance about a commissioner or a division head. We need to hold these we deal with the governor and the secretary is accountable to hire and fire their people. That's what our confirmation process is about. We don't need to expand the confirmation process. It's like I said, we're going to soon be appointing everybody in the executive branch, and that's not what separation of powers is about.
Thank you, Senator Wood. I just believe we'll have to disagree. If it was a private sector, there would be no agency, it'd be out of business. So I don't think that's a relevant fact.
And let's move forward on this on the discussion because this is for PCS. Sorry to interrupt you, Senator Wood. Do you want to make a final point? 'Cause we
Well,
will be
that's
hearing
fine.
this Again.
That's not true because that's not a good comparison. You're gonna always have to have a division of motor vehicles. You know, a pizza restaurant is not a good pizza restaurant in close.
Thank you. We'll
You're
move.
always gonna have a division of motor
Yeah,
vehicles.
Let's keep the conversation towards, we have one more and then we'll open up for any folks who want to talk in the audience. Senator Minor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me one additional question.
Sure.
Part of the rationale is that this is such an important customer-facing organization, and we normally exert our oversight over secretaries who are responsible for the strategic leadership rather than the real functional leadership, which is what you're highlighting here. What happens if we don't approve of the governor's choice and they're not approved, and therefore there's not someone in the position for some indefinite period of time? Well, there's a delay between what we consent to and what the governor wants to do. Doesn't that put the department in a worse situation? And isn't that one of the things we want to avoid in the confirmation process?
Senator Meyer, isn't there a word called interim? We use a lot for other situations and it happens all the time. Thank you for that question. Is there any comments from the community? Hearing none. Senator Newton, last conversation.
I do
before
have
we
a
move forward.
question. I do have a question. So there's a lot of conversation about the hiring and firing and so forth. So as I'm reading the bill, I'm asking a question. I don't see any language about removal. Is there anything about removal in this bill? In other words, my question goes to the governor would appoint, so the governor would hire, and we would confirm theoretically. And then if there was a problem down the road, who does the firing?
The governor.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, guys, this, yes, Senator, well, I said last one. We'll have it up for discussion. Happy to talk offline about any changes or anything that you guys would want to do, but we will hear this bill again next week, PCS of 309 that I've incorrectly said at first. All right, then now we are moving forward to House Bill 199 DMV proposed legislative changes. I do believe there's an amendment, a small amendment that Senator McGinnis would like to present to the committee.
Madam Chair, I'd like to send forth an amendment, and I would ask that Senator Lazar explain the amendment.
Great. What we're going to do is, seeing that the amendment has been presented, we're going to, since it is basically the entire bill, we're going to go ahead and approve the amendment and then open it up, the bill for discussion, if that's okay with you, Mr. Chair. All right, good. Seeing that the bill has been offered for and the amendment has been offered, and we have an amendment sponsor, Senator McGinnis, bringing it forward to the committee. Do I hear a vote of, yeah, everybody's telling me because I know I'm fumbling around for words. What, Justice? A motion to approve. Thank you. All in favor, or that's it? That's all we got. All right, thank you so much. Senator Lazar, after I fumbled that, you are welcome to not fumble the presentation of the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, don't we have to vote on that motion?
Oh, yeah, we do. Justice. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having my back up here. All right, so thank you, Senator Meyer, for correcting me. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you so much. And Senator Lazar, now you're available to.
Thank you,
discuss
Madam
the
Chair, and thank you all for a great discussion today. I'm going to go over some highlights. There's 41 sections of the bill. I'll be glad to go in depth, but I'll go to the highlights first and then go through some questions if we have them. This piece of legislation as amended would make several important changes as requested to DMV, including authorizing a mobile driver's license, conforming with federal law on CDL licensure and odometer disclosures, basically confirmation language, implementing a statewide system for print-on-demand temporary registration plates, authorizing electronic notarization and signatures for motor vehicle transactions, We're going to extend the duration of temporary registration plates from 30 to 60 days. The amendment also adds important provisions related to commission contractors or LPAs, better known. We're adding a shot clock on the approval or denial process of an application. We're making some clarifications on an applicant that may be under a business name. We have some switches that require the bond from a guarantee bond to a surety bond. Contractors have been unable to acquire guarantee bonds, but have been able to secure the surety bonds. And we're also making the LPA advisory committee meeting subject to open meetings law. Other notable provisions include updating penalties for littering. We have a major litter problem. We also have a provision for overweight, oversized exemption for the transport of EV batteries. We're requiring the DOT CFO to align the department's general ledger with the certified budget to allow for more transparency in DOT spending. And we've been talking about that for some time with the agency, and they are okay with it. Again, there's 41 different sections. I'll be glad to go as deep as y'all want. I'm sure you've had a chance to review it. A lot of these provisions have been worked on with the agency, and we've also worked with our House counterparts, and this bill has all been completely agreed upon with the House.
Thank you so much for presenting. Senator Lazara, I see Senator Mayfield. Hi, you're recognized with a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I have not had a chance to look at this in depth. We got all of this at 8 o'clock last night. And I just want to make sure that I understand procedurally what we're doing. So the third edition of the bill is what has come to us, and what we're seeing today is basically an amendment that amends a lot of things about the bill. So so I guess my question is, why is this not a PCS? Why is this being amended? It seems like often bills with this level of changes we see a PCS as opposed to an amendment.
Thank you for that. If you don't mind, I'll take the question. So procedurally, we have 2 more committee stops. So this bill will have a lot more discussion in those committees. So that is for the reason for the amendment. Any other questions that I have? I see Senator Moffitt and then, oh, sorry, Senator Murdoch. I apologize. Yes, you're recognized. Please do.
Okay, yeah, just wanted just to thank the committee chairs. There was a provision we were able to work on with all of you, myself along with Senator Woodard. So hopefully it stays in there. So I will not say what provision that is, since it's a long bill. But just wanted to thank you all for working with us on that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, baby. Quite questionable.
So sorry, looking around the committee, I see one other light on, but that means no other lights on. No, I'm kidding. Senator Meyer, you recognized.
I have a thank you as well, Senator Sawyer. I appreciate the provision on the litter piece. I think that's really important. We hear about it a lot from folks. Thank you for including that.
Thank you, Senator Meyer. Senator McGinnis that has been one of his crosses he's been bearing. Opening up the discussion to anyone in the audience. All right, seeing none. Let's make sure I don't mess this one up again. Let's see, what is the root right here? Yeah, here we go. So after discussion, Senator McGinnis moves for a favorable report to House Bill 199 as amended and rolled into a PCS, and favorable to the original bill with referral to Senate Judiciary. All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, then moves forward. The ayes have it. Thank you so much, and meeting is adjourned.